Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Northern Virtual Food and Drink Festival demonstration tent. Hope you've been making your way around the other tents today that we've got going on here. There's lots of things going on the Hot Topic stage and in the food tent and the drinks tent and so on and so forth. So make your way around and then please have a good look around. I'm going to welcome to the stage in a second or two Chef Paul Dixon, another kitchen, and we're going to fly to in the northern quarter of this country. But first, another little word from our main charity today, which is Hospitality Action.
Ollie Hoyle, Catering Manager.
Peter Molar, Doorman.
Ricardo Oliva, Concierge.
Ulrich Edwards, Concierge Assistant.
We've got you.
Linda Anderson, cafe owner.
Ioana Gheorghiu, junior sous chef.
Nuno Pinto, bartender.
Mark Black, head porter.
Andrea Demir, receptionist.
We've got you.
Aaron Dixon, apprentice chef.
Federica Pinna, pastry chef.
Sabino Mazzone, pastry chef.
Himari Bochke, barista supervisor.
We've got you. Shwam Maharjan, sushi head chef.
Mitchell Collier, duty manager.
Anna Grabczewska, publicaria cleaner.
Whatever you do in hospitality, isn't it good to know that someone's got your back in case anything goes wrong?
Okay, so here we go live with Paul Dixon. Hello, Paul.
Hi, Craig. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. What have you got planned for us today? I think we've got a bit of a different dish going down from you, haven't we?
We have. We're going to do a vegan dish today, and we're going to have a vegan play on the classic Northern chippy tea.
Fantastic. So before we get into that, tell us a little bit about you. Who's Paul Dixon? What are you doing? Where are you, and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I'm obviously Paul Dixon. I have a company called Paul's Kitchen. So I've been a chef all my life. Worked in London and in the Northwest. Now I'm an independent caterer. I also do a lot of recipe development, bit of consultancy and food styling for big companies. So that's sort of my bag at the moment. Furloughed at the moment, and to be fair, enjoying the time to be creative. We'll never have this time again, Craig.
We won't. I mean, it's a massive thing for the world at the moment, as well as this country and us as in the hospitality industry, really, isn't it? To have this much time on our hands is very much unprecedented. And hopefully, like you say, you're spending it well.
Yeah, it needs to be spent well. It's when you've got time to think. You know how hard it is in kitchens. You just getting up, going to work all day. We don't have enough time to creatively think and to have freedom on what we want to practice. This is a great period for chefs if they want to do that.
Very much so. And this is one of the reasons why we've put on this virtual food and drink festival anyway, to kind of allow those chefs to get their creative juices flowing, to kind of show what they can do as well. Because more often than not, when you go to a restaurant or you go out for dinner, you never see the person that's behind it, the person that's putting that food on your plate. Whereas in a situation like this, we can see that you're cooking that food and putting that food on that plate with the love and the care and the attention that you actually give to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're seeing the real chef, aren't you?
Absolutely. So I'm going to do my thing and disappear into the background and bring you on big and do your stuff.
No problem. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the other side.
Indeed. So they say.
Right. So, yeah, I'm doing a play on the classic Northern chippy tea. It is a vegan play, so it's not going to be fish. It's going to be using tofu. So I'm going to make the tofu is going to be the fish. I'm going to do some triple cooked chips, some industry standard chips. I'm going to do a bit of a smashed pea salsa, and I'm going to do some lovely fritters with some wild garlic and chives from the garden. I'm going to be making the batter with IPA. It's a vegan beer. Just check the label that it is vegan. And then hopefully it should come together lovely for a vegan play on a chippy tea. So I'm going to get started.
That sounds fantastic. Can't wait.
So, first of all, I'm going to do is I'm going to cook and marinate the tofu. So the important thing about the tofu is you want the firm tofu, not the silken tofu. It's very soft. It's good to blend, but it would break up if you're going to fry it. So I'm going to just cook the tofu into pieces, ready to marinate.
just back on that one, Paul, there's lots of different grades and styles of tofu as well, isn't there? So, like you just said, you need to make sure you get the right one for this recipe because they are all good for different things, aren't they?
They absolutely are. This is a firm tofu. This is organic. We're going to just marinate this in a little bit of vinegar. So this is the vinegar from the gherkins, which I'm going to use to make the tartar sauce. And I'm also going to put a bit of caper vinegar in there. And I'm going to use a little touch of the classic chippy vinegar, bit of malt, like so. I've also got a few aromats in here. So I've got a bit of coriander seeds, a bit of fennel seeds, and a bit of mustard seeds. I'm going to put in some finely sliced shallot. Like so. This is just going to put a little nice, really lovely, fresh flavour onto the fish, onto the tofu. Nearly said fish there. It's going to give that really fish and chip shop vibe of that light vinegary flavour when you put it on your fish. So there it's marinating there. It doesn't have to marinate a long time. It's just going to be marinating while I get on with the next dish. I'm just going to sit it over here. That's going to sit nice and happy. I'm going to give that about 15 minutes. You don't want it too much, otherwise it'll get too strong. Okay, next thing we're going to do is the mayonnaise. So we're making an eggless mayonnaise, and we're going to do it with a substance called aquafaba, which is basically the water protein residue left in a tin of beans or pulses. Chickpea is the most common one. It's thick, it looks like an egg white, and you can use it pretty much like an egg white. So I know people bake with it. I know people have successful recipes for meringues and macarons. It works great with mayonnaise. It gets nice and thick and it's very stable. So all you do is simply go for the one that's in water as well. So all you do is simply drain your chickpeas, and you want to keep your chickpeas, obviously. That can go in a dish. Go away. So there's the chickpeas there. I'll just give that a good drain, like so. And you can see there's stuff underneath. Just get rid of them. You can see the liquid underneath is thick like an egg white. You see that? That reacts like an egg white, and that's going to emulsify when I make the mayonnaise. So in there is, it's about 100 mils from a tin of chickpeas. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of mustard. I've got Dijon here. Teaspoon of mustard. I'm just going to put a little squeeze of lemon, like so. Here we've got some nice natural and neutral oil. So I'm going to put in some veg oil. I'm going to switch on my blender. Give a little touch of salt. And when with a hand blender, very easy, start at the bottom and just whisk. Now it's emulsified. I'm going to put the rest of my oil in. is it. That didn't take long at all. Now, if you look at that now, that is thick and creamy, like a proper mayonnaise. Same colour, very, very, very similar taste. In fact, you would hardly notice the difference. You'd have to have a really, really educated palate to know the difference. And when you start mixing things like tartar sauce and Mary Rose, it's almost unrecognizable to the real thing. In fact, sometimes I've used this instead of doing separate mayonnaises. So, you know, you could make one mayonnaise and then you could make aquafaba mayonnaise. But if the aquafaba mayonnaise is as good as the regular mayonnaise, you should be able to use it for lots of stuff. It is obviously dairy free and it's for vegans, so you can cut out all the preparation you need in your restaurant, and you can also make it more vegetarian friendly. So that is the mayonnaise made. I'm going to make now the tartar sauce. So for that, I'm going to use some very fine diced shallot. Like so. Keep it nice and small. I don't like it when it's too blended. I still like it with texture. We'll do there, that's plenty. I'm going to add that to my bowl. I'm going to give it a little squeeze of lemon now, and that will just help soften the onion, and it will just help taking the harshness out of the shallot, especially with a little bit of salt. So if you mix that together while you're doing the rest of the ingredients, that will just cure that onion a little bit and make it nice and polite. I'm going to put some capers in there. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of capers, like so. And I'm going to put some gherkins in there. If you don't have these little cornichons, you can use, you know, dill pickle gherkins. They give a little sweeter vibe. Entirely up to you, really. That should be enough. Get rid of them. And then all we're going to do is chop these gherkins up, nice and even. There, nearly there. There's lots of different recipes for tartar sauce. I like to keep mine really simple. Sometimes I put egg in if it's not vegan, but I like a little bit of texture. I like to keep it simple. I don't want it to overpower the rest of my dish. There we go. Last one. There we go. So there's our mix there. Just to recap, we've got some shallot, we've got some small capers, we've got some gherkins, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of lemon juice. That lemon juice and salt is already working on the shallot, and I can already tell it's got a lovely pinky colour and just softening that shallot nicely. So, in with some mayonnaise. Don't want it too loose, I like it nice and chunky. And there is my tartar sauce. As you can see, it looks pretty much like a nice homemade chunky tartar sauce. And I'll just keep that to one side. Mayonnaise will go in the fridge. The next thing is going to be the chips. So I've got some peeled Maris Pipers here. I pretty much think a derivative of Maris Piper is as good as you're going to get. There's lots of different derivatives. There's some excellent potatoes out there. And I'm sure you'll have your favorite. Me personally, I like the classic Maris Piper. I'll just top and tail. Put it into even sizes like so. And then into nice sized chips. Sometimes I leave the skin on. Sometimes I just do them nice and neat. Sometimes I make them nice and squared off like classic Pont Neufs. Jengas, they call them now. Potato per person.
Just for a bit of information out there, Paul, do we know what Pont Neuf means?
Pont Neuf is a bridge in Paris.
It is. Pont Neuf is the 9 bridges of Paris, yeah. Or it's a bridge with 9 spans.
That's right, yeah. And you serve 9, don't you, as a portion, is that right?
Yes, yes.
So in there, we've got some just some water, a little bit of salt, and our chips. So this is my first part of the cook. Now I like to bring these up to the boil, and then I turn them down so they're just gently simmering. I don't want them to break up too much. So I'm just going to show you when we get to that point, then I'm going to show you how they look once I drain them. So when they've been cooking like that, and once they're cooked, they take about 12 to 15 minutes. And then you put them through a sieve, you carefully place them on a plate. Now, what's really important, I think, is you put them in the fridge now. You want that starch, they're fully cooked, but you want them potato and you want that starch to reset and to go nice and firm again. If you try to make chips straight away with them, it could be a little bit watery and it could break up too much. So I've got something I made earlier. As you can see. So if you look at them, they're not broken up, but they've got nice little crispy bits on the ends. Now these lovely little gnarly bits are what's going to make the chips really crispy. The oil's going to get in them and they're going to be very, very delicious, but they're quite firm, quite easy to handle. So in a restaurant, I would, you know, if I was doing lots and lots of chips, I would normally put them on steamer trays, salt them, whack them in the rationale, do a load batch, blast chill them, have massive buckets of cold chips once they've been totally fridge cooled, and then they're quite easy to handle. And you can then start the next 2 cooking processes, the blanch at 130 and then the final cook at 170, 180 to crisp them right up. This is a great way to do it. This, of course, could be done in advance, so you could do this the day before if you're at home. You don't have to do everything on the same day. So once this comes up the boil, I will just turn it down and show you the level of roll you need on the water. Won't take long. Meanwhile, if you've got any questions, anybody, please fire them through to Craig. And of course,
I'm on this side, ready and waiting.
If you're a massive fish lover, why not try this? Why not try this vegan version? Particularly the guys working in restaurants. You know, it's not a phase; it's here to stay. More and more people are choosing to become vegetarian and vegan, not only through welfare but also through lifestyle. So you know, it is here to stay. There's going to be more of it. If you can offer a wide variety of dishes, you're going to get the customers to come to you. For example, as we know in the industry, or when we're not working, vegans, it's hard to cater for vegans, and we kind of let them choose the restaurant if there's a friend in the group. So you know, if you want your restaurant to be that place where they go, it's very important we cater for them. So come and have a look at the water.
I think there was a statistic out there not so long ago. It was a group of 8 people, and one of them was either vegetarian or vegan. That one person would choose where the entire party of 8 people ate.
Absolutely. I mean, we know what it's like when our kids were younger. We would let the kids choose where they could go to eat, where they could chill out, and then we could chill out. Now, I'm not saying the vegans are like kids, but it's important that we go to a place that's suitable for everybody. So I'm just turning this down. It's come to the boil. And now, this is how I want it. You see that just gentle bubble? I don't want them rapidly boiling. I want it gentle, so they're just simmering gently. If they're boiling rapidly, you're going to overcook the outside of the potato. It's going to mush away, and it's not going to cook nice and gently. So that's all we want. So we normally give that 15 minutes, and then we carefully tip the water out and put them back in the fridge. I'll just do that. Right, down to our batter now. So very simple batter. All we've got in the batter is plain flour, corn flour, bit of baking powder, bit of salt, some really cold beer. Get it as cold as possible. This is an IPA. It is vegan friendly. So we put all the flours in together, like so. Baking powder, a teaspoon of salt. I'm also going to put a little teaspoon of curry powder. This gives it a nice colour, but more importantly, it gives it a lovely savouriness. And then I'll just blend all that mix together like so. Then I go in with the beer, really ice cold IPA. I just give it a good whisk, making sure there's no lumps. More beer. That's my batter, perfect there. A little bit left in there, which I will toast the dish later. And then this batter smells amazing. This, I'm going to do a little chefy trick. I'm going to just pour this batter on the sink in case I spill it. I'm going to pour it in a siphon cup. So if you don't have a siphon gun at home, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to charge it up with a couple of chargers, which is just basically putting some nitric oxide in there, which produces lots of bubbles. But also force cold air into it. So when you tip it upside down, it will produce lots of bubbles and make it very cold. The colder the batter, the better. If it's really cold, it will crisp up when it hits the hot oil much better. And they can sit in there for a long time. I would make this in service. I would have the batter already made in batches. I'd have a couple of gas guns. And I'd have the batter just sitting on the side. I wouldn't make too much batter. I wouldn't get the batter nice and hot. I'd keep it nice and cooked. Just give a little shake to distribute the gas. And that's ready to go. So we've done our tartar sauce. We've made our batter. We've got our tofu marinated beautifully. We've going to move on to preparing the fish now. The tofu fish. So here's our pieces here. I'm just going to pick off all of the little aromats, like so. Then I'm going to give it something that resembles the smell and the sort of evokes the feeling of the fish in the seaside. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit that on a sheet of nori seaweed, which will give the resemblance of a piece of the fish skin. It's going to give a lovely savory note and a big umami bang hit to the tofu. Like so. And that's going to stick to the tofu just there. Like that. Two. Last two here. Goes a long way, the packs of nori. Keep it nice and dry. So there's our pieces of vegan fish. Just going to very gently flour them. Like so. Just let them sit there. Just before we fry. Right, the last part of the dish is going to be my peas. This is a cold pea dish. You could heat it up if you want, but I'm going to have it, because it's nice and hot outside, I'm going to have it more like a bit of a salsa-y style thing. So I'm going to put in a little bit of fine diced shallot. Not too much. I'm going to put this in my pestle mortar. You could use a NutriBullet, a blender. You know, I'm only doing it for a couple of people. My daughter's helping here. She's a camera woman. We're going to have this for our lunch. A little bit of salt. A little bit of lemon. Put in some peas. So. I'm just going to smash and bruise them up a bit. It's not a puree. It's just one of the lethal and juices of the lovely peas. Mix it all together with shallots and lemon. Then I'm going to put in some gorgeous fresh herbs from the garden. I've got these beautiful tiny little mint leaves. Just going to drop in these little mint leaves. And it smells really good. So, got some little bits of curly parsley. Just going to pick that, get that in there. So this is almost a bit like a pea salsa verde. A little bit more parsley. Got some lovely little bits of fennel as well. I've also got some the continental parsley. That's it. Give a little twist of pepper. Some really good quality extra virgin olive oil. Just bring that together a little bit. It is very delicious, very tasty, very vibrant in colour. You see that there? I don't want to bruise everything too much down. I just want that nice and fresh like that. You get right in on that stuff. Perfect. So, we've got a pea, got a tart sauce, got my batter and my fish. So I will show you how to... Let's do the chips first. So first scoop is for me 130. So I'll put the chips in there. And I'll just give them a little cook. 130. That's basically going to cook them without colour. It's not going to take a long time. Then I'm going to turn the temperature up to 170, 180, and then we're just going to give it that final blast of colour to crisp them up. Put a little bit of salt on. Nice and simple. Any questions coming through yet, Craig?
No, we're not got nothing coming through yet, Paul, but you're doing a great job. I've got a few comments here.
No problem.
So, Julie Dixon says, done it. Oh, I think she's trying to share the video. That was the previous comment, but now she says she's done it.
That's fine. Right, chips are frying away nicely. Now the batter. Just going to carefully squeeze the batter. You can see it's really aerated now. There's still quite a lot in there. And if you look at the batter, it's like a mousse now. That's going to produce lots and lots of really crispy bubbles. When I look at the chips, chips are cooking nicely. Once they start to float, they're going to be ready to turn up the temperature. The batter's done. So, what I'm going to do with the wild garlic and the chives, I've picked these, I've given them a wash, and we're going to do these, which look very similar to like fritters, what I'd call like a tempura style. And all we do with these is we dip them in the batter, we fry them off, because traditionally fish and chips are served with sort of deep fried parsley, and we're going to use the last of the wild garlic. We've still got some in the back of the house. That's still just right, just the smaller ones. We'll do that. So we're going to use some of the chives flowers, the wild garlic, we'll use some fennel, and I'll do a nice mound of crispy sort of fritters to serve with it. Chips are nearly done. Are we good for time?
Yes, we're all good, Paul, don't worry.
Perfect. Perfect. All good, all good. Happy mise en place. Happy mise en place. Get my plate ready.
So, what's the bonus of putting the batter in this spoomer gun, Paul?
It's going to make it colder, because when the gas goes in there, it cools things down. It also is going to produce a lot more bubbles. So when it hits the fat, it's going to produce a very light and airy batter. You don't have to put in the gun, but you know, most kitchens have them. Even a lot of households now, even things for like just, you know, simple things like whipped cream. They're pretty much a staple in most restaurants now, for spumas, for mousses, for sauces. It just gives a nice aeration to the batter.
And you said you put nitrous oxide in there as well, yeah?
Yeah, the little cartridges.
Yeah, because you can get nitrous oxide and CO2, can't you? CO2 gives you a bigger bubble and nitrous oxide gives you a smaller bubble, doesn't it?
Yeah, so this is the nitrous one. It's giving a small bubble. It's going to make it really, really, really light crispy. There is our chips. They're just starting to float now. See there? They're starting to get the skin on there. They've got the lovely crispy bits on the outside. All I'm going to do with that is turn it up. 180, 175, 180. I'm going to take them out and just let them sit. Let the temperature get up the temperature, and then I'll fry them chips off. I will, in the meantime, start thinking about getting my plate ready. I'll put my tartar sauce, my little fish bowl there. Lots of lovely tartar. Fry them off in a second. I'm going to do the chips, get them out of the way. I'm going to do the fish. The reason I'm doing the chips first is the fish will produce a lot of what they call scraps. I'm from the northeast originally. We used to call them scrampions. Don't know why we call them scrampions, but they're the lovely crispy bits. They're great to put on top of the fish as well. A little bit of malt vinegar. But if I did the chips after that, the chips could get covered in lots of little bits of batter. Or alternatively, you'd have another separate little fryer. But do your sort of chips first. Enough temperature.
So these are what you'd find on a restaurant menu is called triple cooked chips, aren't they?
Triple cooked chips, yeah, Craig. They're probably the industry standard now, although there's many variations of it. There's circular ones. They're cooked in duck fat. They're cooked in dripping. They're pretty great chips. I mean, I like the thin sort of pomme alamette. I like them with a steak, but I think a chip shop style chip is probably the perfect chip in my personal opinion. You go and get chips on a fish and chip shop. Even now, I say, "Oh my God, I wish them." How did they get them chips so tasty? They're just.
And I must admit, in the north, we do some fairly fantastic fish and chips.
Ah, awesome. It's strange. What's strange in the different areas of the north is the different fish they choose. I mean, in the northeast, we always used to prefer cod. Yorkshire might be cod, could be haddock. In the northwest, it seems to be haddock.
I'm a northwest boy, yeah, and I must say that I do prefer haddock to cod because that's what I used to get from the chippy when I was younger.
Yeah, see, I mean, in the northeast, we hardly ever saw haddock. It was mostly cod in a fish and chip shop. So I guess you favour what you nostalgically grew up on, I guess.
Yes.
I like them all. So, right, these chips are ready to fry. Temperature's up there now. Just going to fry them up to get them nice and crisp with a bit of colour. If you come and have a look, you can see the oil is FFSing way more than it was because the temperature's up. We want them nice colour. We want to get them nice and crispy.
What oil are you using in the fryer there, Paul?
That's just very plain veg oil. So I sometimes have a fryer with a couple of fryers. Sometimes I have some with if I got some duck fat in or some dripping, but this is obviously for vegan. I wouldn't mix frying with any other product. So nice, simple veg oil. Or you could use sunflower oil. All right. I'll show you. You can see them crisping up lovely. The colour is starting to get there. I don't want them too dark. I want them just nice and crispy with a right bit of colour. I don't like chips too dark. If you've ever been to a restaurant, you see where the chips are really dark, it's probably that they've used the wrong potato by mistake, or they've run out of their potato and they've used a much more of a sugary potato. So the sugars in the potato will go darker. If you ever cooked new potatoes in a fry, you'll see they go a bit darker. And if you use like a jacket potato, that is less of a Maris Piper, you'll see they go quite dark because it's the sugars. Where these stay crispy, they don't go too dark, but they won't go black.
We've got a question from Dave Evans. Can you still get hake in a fish and chip shop?
Yeah, I see hake occasionally. I think when they have like, like sort of special sort of fish and chip week, or when they're supporting the seafood and fishmongers, you can get hake. I've seen mackerel. I've seen skate, and you don't see it really up north. But when I worked in London, they used to use like what they call dogfish, which they try to give it a bit of a posh name, rock salmon. That was very popular in the sort of East End style. It's quite nice, actually. It used to be very cheap, so it was a good alternative and a cheaper option if you couldn't afford cod. But as we know, fish is expensive, and as it should be, because it's a quality product. And our local waters, who produce the most amazing fish, we have some of the best fish in the world. Some of our cold water fish, our haddocks, our cods, some of our seafood. We should be eating it. It always amazes me how little fish we eat. We're an island surrounded by water, and we're kind of one of the only islands who doesn't eat much fish. So we should try to eat as much fish as possible.
I must admit, my go-to if we ever go out to any restaurants is fish.
Yeah, it's funny, but chefs do that, Craig, don't they? I know when I go out, I try to eat fish. And if I go on holiday, I sort of make these sort of statements to the family about I'm only eating fish in every meal. I'm not going to eat any meat. So a lot of chefs love the fish. Is chips ready now? So you can see they're really crispy. Got them lovely. Don't do this at home because it'll be hot. Got them lovely gnarly bits. Drain off the extra oil. Gonna give them a little seasoning. You can hear them sizzling. There we go. Right, fish in the batter now. So, got my tofu here. I'm going to give it a little coating of flour. 2 pieces I'll do. Get the excess off. Into my batter. Lovely aerated batter. And fry that carefully. Give the basket a little shake so it doesn't stick. Put the other piece in. Now you can see the lovely bits of scraps and the bits of fish there. You can as well, if you want more scraps on your fish, which they do in tempura restaurants, you get some of the batter like this, and they're just dotted in like that. And they do that on the prawns to give really great texture.
That was the bit that everybody wanted in the chip shop, wasn't it? The scraps.
Oh, the scraps are the best. My fish and chip shop, when we couldn't afford, when we were kids, and we couldn't afford fish and chips, or even just pork and chips, they would sell us a big bag of scraps for 5p. Absolutely fantastic.
Because they've still been fried in the same fryer as the fish, so they're going to have a little bit of a fishy flavour to them anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, and absolutely awesome. You know, get a bit of vinegar on there, loads of salt, absolutely laughing. So, have a look. You can see that it looks like fish. You can see the bit of skin there, which was the nori seaweed. And then you see our lovely scraps here. A little bit longer. In the meantime, I'll just blend up our gorgeous chips. Big mound of northern chips. Big proper portion. One for the chef.
Well, he's got to try it, haven't he? He's got to taste it.
Absolutely. Here's our tofu ready. Lovely crispy tofu. It's really crispy. Listen to that. A few scraps on that. And then finally, my fritters. So, you get your wild garlic, give it a little dunk, shake off the excess in the fryer.
So we've got another question here from Julie Dixon. How long do you fry the tofu for?
It takes about 3 or 4 minutes. It doesn't take long. Just till it's nice and crispy. Remember, the tofu is already cooked. It is not raw like a piece of fish. Put some chive in there. White garlics are beautiful now. Some lovely wild garlic fritters. We'll do some fennel from the garden, some bronze fennel. How's the done?
The main man, Sean Noonan, says that looks stunning, Paul.
It's good. It is good. I mean, it's it is a really nice alternative. And like I said, with lifestyle, a lot of people are trying to eat smaller portions of meat, and if you do want to miss one meal and try something vegetarian, you'll definitely not be disappointed with this.
I like the idea of the fritted as well. That's just going to give a bit of a different element to that, isn't it?
Yeah, if you look at it, it just gives beautiful colours, lovely crispiness. It's like another vegetable. I've got my peas here now, which is really vibrant. And that's a proper portion of food, that, Craig.
It is. That looks absolutely northern banging.
Absolutely. That is a great northern starter. A little bit of lemon. Hit it hard with the saracens just to give that fish chop feel. Tiniest bit of salt. And that, my friend, is what I call my vegan version of a proper chip tea. Vegan tartar sauce made with aquafaba. We've got some tofu, nori seaweed, a vegan IPA batter, a summery smashed pea salsa style, some gorgeous fritters for some forage wild garlic, and some triple cooked chips. That should do us. Thank you very much, Craig.
Absolutely, that, Paul. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. I'd like to say, on behalf of the organisation team at the Northern Virtual Food and Drink Festival, thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for an absolutely banging dish. And as usual, we're just going to go into a little video from Hospitality Action just to finish off. Thank you again, Paul. Appreciate that very much.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Hospitality Action is a force for good. We offer lifelines to people who work or have worked in hospitality and find themselves in difficulty or crisis. We help people set their lives back on track. But not all of our stories have happy endings. For April, a secondary cancer diagnosis meant the best we could do for her was to take any financial worries off her mind.
I was diagnosed summer of 2018 with sarcoma cancer and attended Christie Hospital here in Manchester, and from there I've been on a journey with various chemo treatments and an operation. Oh, I've known about Hospitality Action for over 10 years. They've been very, very good to me. They have given me little Christmas presents. I came back on my holiday and I had a birthday present from them and a birthday card, which really surprised me. It was a nice little touch. I've been given a warming grant for heating, and I've been given different amounts of money paid at different times throughout the year. With VHA's help, I've been able to recently take a little trip down to London a couple of weeks ago, and with that I was able to sort of meet up with my friends, go out. We went to the West End, we went and seen the Tina Turner musical, and we had fun. You know, it doesn't take that much sort of to be with your friends and sort of having that sort of tranquility and fun. It's less pressure too. It's knowing that next month there'll be a sum coming in then too, and that'll pay off all the utility bills. So it's a safety net that's there, and I'm very, very grateful that it's there, that I'm able to use it.
Whatever life throws at you, isn't it great to know somebody's got your back when the going gets tough? Help us to help people like April, people like you. Hospitality Action, we've got you.
The Northern Food and Drink Virtual Festival, working with. We will be joined by some of the top chefs around the Northern region and some industry professionals doing masterclasses and demos on the 24th and 25th of May. Event organisation team. We're also supporting Hospitality Action and supporting them in the work they do.
I didn't know that I will become what I now represent. Hope for many thousands of HIV cancer patients. Hi, I'm Adam, the London patient. What drew me to hospitality was my passion for food. I started very humbling as a kitchen porter. I like to cook. I want people to enjoy my food. I think I found a lot of pleasure in that. My HIV started in 2003. At the time, it was very feared when I get the news to get HIV. Then by 2011, 2012, when I was diagnosed with cancer, but this time fearing my mortality and without knowing what's going to happen. Because I think when you have cancer, the panic sets in. You feel really overwhelmed by the whole, wow, I'm going to die. And for me, it was like the second time around feeling that. I thought I would be prepared for it, but you never prepare for it. By 2015, the final told me, unfortunately, now you become terminally ill. How do you hear about Hospitality Action? I think I heard through Macmillan Cancer Center. Because I was chef, they told me, oh, you know, it's a charity, who can help you? How Hospitality Action helped me? I think they helped me in two ways. They helped me financially and later emotionally as well. Financially, during all the treatments and facing homelessness. That was very hard. They maintained my level of safety net. I'm still very grateful for it. They did help me in a really incredible way I couldn't ever even imagine when I received in the post an invitation to go to a Cirque du Soleil. They gave me a big smile because I felt part of our family. I was going to see my doctor and he called me. I was on a double-decker bus and he said to me, I got very good news to you. We find a match to do the transplant, to able to cure, and we're hoping to cure your cancer, but it's something else we want to tell you. We think and we hope we can cure as well your HIV. And then a big smile came to me, wow, I'm actually going to be cured of HIV in my lifetime. I don't think I can believe it. I have a stem cell transplant. Something happened when I had my transplant. I was given a card saying, your life start again, day 0. It's very strange going back to Adam, but now at this time it's different. I go with a sense of purpose, more into helping people and giving hope. And now I treasure my life and I want to live my life to the fullest. How we can describe Hospitality Action to people in the industry, and I will describe it as a compassion charity who cares passionately about the members of the hospitality industry. And the care, and I can tell you from my own experience, how mentally they help me on that situation to give me a smile in my face and to able at the same time helping me to keep a roof over my head.
We helped Adam in his time of need when he was just Adam and not the London patient.
No matter who you are or what brings you to us in the first place, we're here to help you, and we'll show you the same compassion, care, and support as we did to Adam. Hospitality Action. We've got you.